classes. This one is going to be important. Classes are one of the most important aspects of an MMORPG. The reasons are obvious. Like, not everybody wants to have the exact same abilities as everyone else. There has to be some sort of differentiation, not only for gameplay aspects, but also immersion and gameplay style. Some people like casting spells, some people like being tanks, some people like being healers. Those are just like the basic tropes of classes, but it's very obvious. Classes are very, very important, but how are they going to do them in the Riot Games MMORPG? Well, I've done a lot of research and there's not a lot of information about this. So this video is going to be about what classes I think are going to be in the game, how they might fit, and how they might be broken up into different regions and factions and things like that. Again, this is just speculation. This is only my opinion, but I think this is a good idea, and I put a lot of time and effort into thinking about this, and I don't know, man. Let me show you what I got here. All right, so these are just my notes. They probably don't make sense until I go over it, but basically I have a set of very generic classes. Those are going to be your traditional warrior, protector, which is going to be a tank, an assassin, which is like a rogue, of course, in like WoW or something like that, fighter, which is going to use like fist weapons and is going to be a little bit more agile, mage, your typical spellcaster, marksman is going to be anything that uses like a gun, a bow, anything like that. Battle mage is going to be somebody who casts spells but also is like melee combat, so think of like maybe like a Silas type character where he's melee but he also uses spells. There's a lot of champions in League like that, which is where I'm drawing a lot of this inspiration from, of course. And then a healer, just like your generic run-of-the-mill healer. But what gets cool about this is which factions are going to have which classes, and each faction might have like a different take on said class. I'll give you a quick example right here. So ninja in Ionia, obviously, like Akali and Shen and Zed, they're supposed to be ninjas. So that's going to be a basic assassin with mostly the same abilities. So they're going to have probably something like stealth, a stun, high damage, mobility is going to be all very similar, but they might have like one or two spells that make them unique to ninjas. And then if Riot's feeling really like they want to do an amazing job, they can go above and beyond and make the animations look more ninja-like and things like that, like more flips or whatever than the traditional rogue. They can have more of a ninja flair to them, if you will, even though for all intents and purposes the same ability. So that's just an example. So let's run over it right here. I got Demacia is going to be, they're definitely going to have a warrior, you know, your run-of-the-mill warrior. Your run-of-the-mill warrior as far as like a Garen or a Jarvan, something like that. Very, very traditional warrior, uses swords, shield and sword, things like that. A protector is going to be more of a beefy dude with definitely a huge shield. He's going to be a tank most of the time, or just like a support type champion, but he might have like a damage spec as well. I haven't really gone into specs. Brawler, like maybe a dude in the taverns, maybe like a Gragas, like a big, huge dude that will beat your ass. Assassin, just run-of-the-mill assassin. Demacia is very basic for the most part. However, they do have paladins. Paladin is going to be a melee hybrid of healing and also melee, of course. They have a healing spec or damage, just like, you know, any other paladin like you might see. Garen's kind of a paladin because he does use the light or whatever when he uses ultimate. So think of something like that. Mage has a healing spec because you need healers in the game for raids and dungeons and things like that. So I think mages will be able to heal. They also have a damage spec, or, you know, they can do hybrid. That'd be super cool. Why not? Marksman, archer. So the marksman class is just anybody who uses guns. So this is going to be the marksman class with a Demacian twist. So they're going to have a few unique abilities that are only available for the archer in Demacia. And then we got duelist, which is going to be similar to other mobile melee specs, which you'll see later on. It's going to have a Demacian twist. Like, for example, parry, I think would be great to add in Demacia for the class specifically. Duelist is going to have parry. I think these could round out. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 classes. There should be 8 per faction that all overlap and kind of give a unique feel per faction. So I feel like this rounds out Demacia very well. It's got a lot of melee, a lot of like front lines warriors that are part of the battle. It's also got assassins for political, like as far as lore goes. Mages aren't really welcome in Demacia, but of course there are mages in Demacia. They're just kind of hiding. They got to stay like undercover, but they're there. And we can't have a faction that doesn't have any mages. That's dumb. So this rounds out Demacia: warrior, protector, brawler, assassin, paladin, mage, archer, duelist. Boom. Perfect. Now we got Noxus, run-of-the-mill warrior. Every class is going to have a warrior. You know, they use a sword or an axe or a mace, and they just beat stuff up with their sword, axe, or mace. It's gonna be dope. Berserker is going to be the mobile melee spec, just like Duelist. So you notice how these are named different things. This is every single one pretty much has a mobile melee spec that's kind of specific to their faction. So similar to Duelist, most of the moves are gonna be the same. They have like dashes and like attacks and things like that, and they're gonna be very mobile but a little bit squishier. However, it's gonna have a Noxian twist. So think like maybe they're on a rampage and they're immune to CC for a period. That's one idea I have, and many different other more brutal takes rather than, you know, poised and ready to counterattack with a parry. So it's just a little bit of a style differentiation there. Pretty cool. And then I think unique class to Noxus can be Shapeshifter. Think Elise, Swain. They use like blood magic to transform or whatever magic. They can shapeshift into like a spider or something, and they can be tank. They don't heal, they tank, or they can do damage depending on what you want to transform into. Think kind of like a druid in WoW, right? Except for without the healing. Assassin is very big in Noxus, but it's just that they're going to be the prime example of assassin. That's going to be assassin is Noxus. You know, a lot of people are going to make Noxus assassins because they're cool. Protector is going to be a run-of-the-mill, big, tanky, beefy dude with a big shield who's going to be on the front lines and doing their thing. Blood Warrior. Now, this is actually going to be more similar to Paladin, but with a Noxus twist. So instead of using the magic of the light, they're going to use the magic of blood to heal other people, especially when they get kills. Then they'll be able to suck the blood out of their kills to heal more people, maybe something like that. Maybe the more damage they do, the more they heal. It's going to have the same basic abilities and same basic kit as Paladin, but it's going to be a little bit more, it's going to have some unique features and maybe hopefully designs, because their spells are going to be red instead of white or yellow, right? And then Blood Mage is going to be the same thing but mage, but they're going to use blood magic, and you can manifest blood magic in so many different ways, so they can still use different types of magic, but they're still gonna have like a fireball, you know. I think maybe it's just red like blood, you know. Also have a healing spec, so they won't be melee, they'll just be ranged and they'll be healing with blood magic. I think that would make sense for Noxus. There's a bunch of other magical things in Noxus, so maybe you can expand the mage thing more, go away from blood mage. I'm not so certain about that, but I thought that made sense. Marksman, run-of-the-mill marksman. And the reason why I did run-of-the-mill marksman for Noxus is because they can use any. I think of so many different types of ranged weapons that they would be willing to pick up. Like Draven uses spinning axes. If you find a spinning axe, you can use it. However, if you're an archer, you know what I mean? You're using bows and arrows. So maybe with the Noxian marksman, their abilities can maybe change based off the weapon. I don't know, but I definitely think that marksmen can go any different direction in Noxus because they're just more versatile. This is the more versatile version of a marksman. And Ionia, this is where it gets kind of cool. You know, basic warrior archer. It's going to be a lot similar to the Demacian archer and the marksman. They're all going to have the same basic abilities with a little bit of a twist, the same archer specific twist as Demacian archer, right? So, you know, if let's say the Demacian archer has volley, this guy's going to have volley as well. It's going to be very similar. And then you got ninja. I just went over this one earlier as an example. It's going to be basic assassin with an Ionian twist, and also has an extra spec for tanking. So the Ionian rogue actually has a tank spec, because I just think of Shen, right, being a tank, using his ability to dodge, like maybe block attacks and things like that. He like has a lot of parry and he has heavy armor. He's a ninja, you know. He doesn't have to rely on stealth as much, and he can build tank armor maybe if he goes that spec. I think that'd be super cool. Mage is just gonna be a basic mage. Healer is gonna be a basic healer. Just think like beads and prayer beads and things like that, and they're using the magic that they have in Ionia, and boom, cast spells and heal stuff. Cool. Now, Skirmisher, this one's pretty cool. This is gonna be kind of like a battle mage. They're gonna be in and out, right? In and out, ranged / melee combat. That's my favorite play style. I love hitting from a distance, jumping in, smacking him again, and then jumping back out and hitting him from ranged again. That's the idea for Skirmisher, but he's gonna have a little bit of magic with him as well. Kind of like a mix between physical damage and magical damage. Super cool. I can't wait. I think that would be super cool. I hope they do something like that, and I think that would fit perfectly for a Ionia style, kind of maybe like an Akali throwing her stars, and I know she's a ninja, but something like that, you know. And then of course we have the swordsman, and this is going to take the place of the mobile melee, the duelist, and the berserker in Noxus. And when you think of a swordsman, think of Yasuo or Yone or Master Yi. A lot of people are going to want to play this class. It's very cool. People love those champions. People love that samurai idea, and that's what it's going to be. You're going to be a mobile swordsman. It's going to be very cool. They're going to have a lot of the same movement abilities and a lot of the same basic kit as the other mobile melees, but they're going to have some very unique spells too, maybe like an alpha strike or a tornado, you know? Maybe not, because the tornado magic, the wind magic is very specific to Ionia, but maybe you run into them and he teaches you how to do it. You know, you never know. Could be very cool. The options are limitless, of course. We have a blank slate here, just brainstorming, man, what I think would be cool. And of course you have the protector. It's gonna be a basic tank spec. So if you go back, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 melees. We have 3 ranged, and we have 1 in between. Okay, very cool. We have 2 tanks, tank, and we have 1 healer. Man, did I mess that up? Should we have another healer? Comment below if you what another healing class could be for Ionia. I think I've missed this one. Oops. Anyway, let's move on. I'm not gonna redo the whole video because I forgot to put an extra healing spec with Ionia. But that's a good point. So I really I put a lot of time and effort to try to balance the class for each faction. So like if you look, they have multiple healers, they have multiple tanks, they have multiple damage melees, they have multiple ranged damage dealers. So you're not, I need to be a healer. My guild needs a healer. I can only play this one class. No, that sucks, right? So I tried to balance it out to be, so there's multiple choices for each faction, which was actually kind of hard. You know, I don't envy the game developers and having to do this sort of thing, but you know what? It is really fun to think about and brainstorm about. And yeah, again, let me know in the comments below, what do you think another healing spec could be for Ionia? Because I can't think of one off the top of my head. I need to put some more time into that. Zaun, this is pretty cool too. So Zaun is obviously gonna have your basic warrior with like the, you know, the underground chemtech style. The marksman for this faction is going to be gunslinger. They're going to be your basic marksman with a Zaun twist. Think guns like Jinx, you know, something like that. There's different specs, of course. You can do like a close range spec or a long range, you know, more of a rifle type spec, or rockets. I don't know. Mutant. This one's pretty cool. So this is going to be similar to shapeshifter. You have your basic human form, and then you can shapeshift into the mutant form. And they can tank because they get big and beefy, but they can also do a bunch of damage. It depends what you change form into. That could be a very cool storyline too. Like maybe you don't start off as a mutant and then you get captured and they turn you into a mutant and you have no choice, something like that. Maybe like a Warwick. I don't know. Pretty cool. Brawler is just gonna be the basic fighter with strong melee attacks. Think like Vi, but without the overpowered gauntlets. Of course, they have those basic gauntlets, so that could be definitely a weapon that you get. And then the legendary one, the best ones in the game, are Vi's gauntlets. You know what I mean? Assassin's gonna be basic assassin. That'd be super cool. Just think the basic assassin's abilities with the Zaun twist. But they're not gonna have like a specific Zaun twist, but I just mean like as far as the animations go, not the individual abilities. So the inventor can take the place of a mage. So it's gonna be basically a mage, but they use their magic is gonna come from technology. The scrap heaps, they find different technologies and they build things out of the chem tech and the hex tech, and they make really cool stuff. Same thing with alchemist. It's gonna be similar to blood mage. It's gonna have the same basic kit as a blood mage, except instead of blood, they're gonna be using the chemicals in Zaun to do their bidding. You know, they might throw vials or flasks at you and things like that to do their damage or heal. I think this is so cool, man. Piltover is obviously gonna have the basic warrior. Protector is gonna be basic tank. So I don't know, just a basic tank, dude with a shield, dude who's big and beefy. You know, he's got really good armor, things like that. Assassin is gonna be the basic assassin. I think of Camille. You know, she's an assassin of Piltover. Fighter, basic brawler. Maybe did I get lazy with this one? No. Okay, it gets better. Inventor is gonna be the same thing as Zaun, but it's just a mage, right? But it's gonna have a Piltover twist. So it's gonna be a lot more hex tech kind of stuff because it's in Piltover. And then they can also heal with certain specs. They can use their hex tech creations to do magic and heal people, you know, kind of like how Victor was healed, but it's not gonna go that far. Hex runner is gonna be the same as Zaun. This one's super cool. I just go back to Zaun. I didn't talk about it enough. Think of like Echo, man. So cool. Like you use some technology, but you're also a really good fighter, so you don't have to rely on the technology. You can run in and out, you can dash, you can get on your little hoverboard and zoom around. Super cool. Hex runner, Hex runner is the mobile melee. So each class has kind of a mobile melee that's unique to them, that's based off of Duelist. And this is gonna be the same thing as Zaun. They're gonna use the same type of equipment, same type of stuff, hoverboards and things like that. Just the same melee attacks, same dashes. That's gonna be the mobile melee class. It just called something different for each faction. And then medic. This one I had a really hard time coming up with what could be a good like standalone healing class for Piltover. But I was thinking like they're pretty advanced. They probably have really good medical technology and medical, you know, they're the smartest, they're the most technologically advanced faction. So maybe they have a lot of medical research and they can just really dive into medicine, you know, and just bandaging people for healing and stuff. I don't know. That one, it's a great idea. It just needs to be fleshed out a little bit more in my brain. Help me out. Let me see what you think about medic. I've never seen medic in an MMO. That could be very cool if done right, but how could it be done? gotta figure it out. So yeah, that's basically my basic ideas for what classes could potentially be in each faction. So don't forget to check out my video about factions. That video is going to cover where each of these different regions and factions are going to actually, maybe, of course, speculation, be in the game. Please drop a like and subscribe. It helps the channel a ton. I'm a very small creator. I put a lot of time and effort into this. I really appreciate any support. Helps my videos out a lot, and love you guys. Oh, there was some I did some digging, and there was some breaking news about there's gonna be a video coming out soon. There's gonna be a video. I don't want to spoil it, but I think I may have found something very that you guys are gonna be very interested in, that is not speculation, but might be a confirmation about something in the game. So keep an eye out for that video. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. Peace. Boom.